Well, obviously, unbelievable college basketball game today, and national TV audience got a treat there. Any fan that was in the building got a treat there, and unfortunately, we fell one play short. So, credit UNCG for their performance. Obviously, both teams in the first half shooting 60%. It was an offensive show, and you could think, well, maybe neither team was guarding. I think it was a little bit opposite. I think you just had a lot of really good players on the floor and a lot of guys making plays. And I think our team played their guts out. I think our team absolutely battled. And, I'm proud of the way that we handled getting down 8 and obviously could have checked out at that point. But I thought our kids played their hearts out. And, I'm sick for Marcus. I know there's nothing more I wanted him to see than to make those 2 free throws and put the game in overtime. And I hate that he has to deal with that. I hate JP has to worry about missing that back cut layup. And those 2 kids did everything they could to help us win that game today. And Marcus goes for 26 on 9 shots, and JP goes for 25 on 15 shots. And I thought they gave us a chance, and I thought we had some guys step up. I thought Tyrese Huey was much improved today. I thought Garrett gave us some great minutes today. I thought Carter Whitt was exceptional. And, I just thought our guys played incredibly hard. But, 2 really good teams playing each other. And, unfortunately, we fell on the wrong side of it. And we've been on the right side of this thing twice in league play. And tonight we found ourselves on the wrong end of it. And so we'll keep getting better. We'll look at this and find ways to improve. And we'll focus on making sure that our attitudes are correct and our effort stays where it needs to be to continue to improve at the rate that we need to. And, there's a lot of growth that we can still have. But this group has grown a ton. And, they've won 6 out of the last 8. They've won as many games in January as they did all of November and December. And Marcus Foster, just watching him out there today, his growth from pre-injury to now, he has another double-double, right? 5th double-double. And, just the unselfishness he's playing with, the willingness to do the hard things in the game, the way JP, his growth has been tremendous. I thought he kept another cool head today in hard times. I thought that he just stayed in the moment. I thought he did the same thing at the Citadel the other night. Just didn't let the margin affect him. Just stayed aggressive. And tonight obviously he gets 4 assists, 25 points, 3 rebounds, and I thought he was exceptional as well. So sick that we didn't find a way to win it, but proud of our effort, proud of our fight, and I trust this group's going to continue to find ways to get better.
Coach, when it's called that tightly as it was called tonight, it seemed like they played well when they were in there, but there was it came to a point where on maybe one of Garrett Haynes' fouls, what are you supposed to do? I thought when you have those guards for them and you have that big guy, how do you try to defend him? When you get everybody in foul trouble almost immediately as they try to.
Yeah, obviously I'm not going to make any comments about the reffing. I haven't been able to see it on film. I like all 3 of those guys, Chuck, Bart, Will. I thought they did make a lot of calls today. I thought it was pretty balanced. I'm sure there were calls Mike didn't like. I'm sure there were calls I didn't like. But, I didn't think it was necessarily what cost us. I think that when they're playing it tight, and when they're calling it tight, then you have to make sure at the end of the day, most of the time, the game's going to be determined in terms of how they're reffing it, how much are they going to call with their hands, right? How handsy are they going to let the game be? And if they're going to call it by the book and on verticality, hey, you got to show your hands, but if you go into them at all, they're going to put you on the line, then you just got to know that, and I think that's where we could have done a better job is just getting into the game and realizing that, hey, listen, it's not like they just started calling it this way, right? They've been calling this game this way the whole game. So then your discipline is going to have to increase. And that's part of being a player. You get in the game, you figure out, all right, how are they calling this? And, hey, they're letting some stuff go. Okay, well, we can be a little bit more physical. Or, hey, you know what? They're calling this, and they're calling a lot. So guess what we got to do? We got to keep our hands out, right? And I think we had some slap downs. I think, what they told me is that we had some guys going A to B on the verticality plays, and they called 2 against them as well, but it didn't help us to have Garrett and Tyrese both with 4 for sure in the clutch of the game. But that's just the way it happened.
I guess at one point in there you moved out to 5. I guess that's kind of what I was talking to as well.
Yeah, I mean, I had no choice.
Yeah.
It was a situation where we had both of them with 4 fouls, and it was either we went Coop for a little bit, and then we went with A. Will for a little bit, and defensively and rebounding, I thought we struggled on the defensive glass at times. I'll be interested to see the box outs on film, just technique wise. We had once we were up 6, and we had a defensive rebound in our hands, and we're about to run, and we lose it, and they score it. And it felt like there were some backside plays that we kind of stood and watched, and all of a sudden they're getting the ball. Felt like in that middle second half, they got us on a couple of those. Second chance points ended up being a wash, but in a game like that, obviously, if you can keep one of those baskets from taking place, then you got a chance to go to OT and maybe win the game.
How frustrating is it? For so much of the game is mental. When your team is defending well and they're making, Marcus Foster played perfect defense on one of the layups there late, and how do you coach your team to mentally just put that behind them, I guess?
Yeah, it was 80-80 tie game, and we were a little bit small there, and so they were just basically running a ball screen to get the switch and to put Kobe on Mark, and to be honest with you, we were fine with that. He made a pull-up 2, which typically our defense is trying to get people to take pull-up 2s, and he made a 1-foot runner that was contested. There was another tough 2. So by the percentages and what we're trying to create in our defense, those are actually 2 shots that we're going to play the numbers on that. Those are going to be 30% shots by NBA players. You know what I mean? That math is basically proven out, and so that's just one of those situations where we had to tell them exactly that. Like at the timeout, like, hey, like those are shots we're going to live with, and over the course of the game, we're going to trust that they're going to miss more than they're going to make, and we've got to be able to rebound those balls, and so. We didn't necessarily adjust it if they wanted to continue to do that, which they kind of got away from that. But if they wanted to continue to do that, we were going to be okay with it. Give Kobe credit. 2 big shots. Big shots.
Coach, there's so many really good players in this league. Will Brad and Langley today, it seemed like today that UNCG was the first team to really kind of key on Marcus a little bit, and I thought that freed up JP a little bit more. And at one point, Marcus had 18 points on 5 shots, and he finishes with 25 on 9. I think Marcus Foster's got to be starting to enter that conversation. He drew 11 fouls today. I think he's got to be entering that conversation as well.
Yeah, I just was thinking about that this morning. I think because of his injury, there hadn't been as much talk about him, and I think that if he continues to do this, he's basically getting 20-something points a game and double-digit rebounds. There's got to be conversation about it. But JP was phenomenal tonight too. And I think that's what I've told both of them. They got to play off each other. What they gonna do. And they got to decide, right? And tonight we felt like Mark had a situation that we felt like he was going to have some advantages. And, we ran some different actions for him and got him loose a few times. I thought there was 2 he should have shot for sure that for whatever reason he didn't. But Marcus is he's just playing so poised, like he's just playing so controlled. And even in the post, they were trying to dig on him, but he's so collected down there. And he's looking to pass out, and he's putting on film, right before halftime of the Citadel game. In the post, back down dribble, kick out A. Will, next play, drive hard, play on 2, kick out JP. Well, all of a sudden his playmaking is getting on film. And I think it's putting people in a little bit more of a bind of, hey, we can't just go right in here and take his ball. Like, he's making plays out. And so it's putting him in a little bit more one-on-one situations. Did a great job, especially in the first half, of playing off the post. And then he did a good job of picking up a bunch of fouls. Tonight he drew 11 fouls, right? And, that's actually incredible. He fouled 2 guys out basically, so, he's doing everything I'm asking him to do right now, and really more. He's a +3 on the night. We lose the game by 2, And so we're -2, he's +3, and we're -5 when he was out the game.
So there are some positives to the game. 8 turnovers against a team that routinely forces them, and I think they have the steals leader in the Southern Conference, and also better job defending Atwell as opposed to the first game. Could you talk about there were I thought some good things defensively, even though you just look at a box score and you say, well, 89 points and but just talk about those two things.
Yeah, this team's really improved in terms of ball security. And, I was really concerned early in the year. We hadn't really dealt with it in my tenure in terms of how much we were turning the ball over. But we've done a great job of taking care of the ball. And, partly a lot of that I think has come down to us moving A-Will to the 4 and just having an extra handler out there and, making cleaner decisions and getting inside of our stuff more. And, turnovers, in my opinion, change games, and I think that's always kind of big on my philosophy. Create them and run on them and don't do it so people can't run on you. And, I think for us to be successful and to win big games, you gotta take care of that ball. And it's got to be takeaways, no giveaways. And it's got to be obviously a mantra that's critical to the core of our team, and I think we've done a much better job with that. In terms of Atwell, great shooter, and we were in the zone up there for most of the game, just having to play 3 bigs, and he got loose a decent amount up there. But, obviously we wanted to make sure we didn't let him get free, and we did a great job on him until we lost him on the backside on an overhelp play and then fouled him. And, but other than that, I thought we did a great job with him.
Coach, obviously y'all know no matter where you go in this league, it's going to be tough, and home or away is going to be tough, but you got to go back on the road on Wednesday, and this is such – you played so well in so many aspects today, and it came up short. I'm sure this is a game where you've got to make sure your team moves on going, to Macon on Wednesday.
Yeah, Mercer beat Greensboro at Greensboro. So I don't know, if everybody's following, but Mercer went to Greensboro and won. So, you don't get much chance to watch like a Saturday of college basketball when you're in season. But yesterday, being home after practice and after getting the game plan all tied up, to be able to watch games and watch leagues and just the parity is incredible. And, I can't really explain what that's due to. I think I saw a stat the other day. Top 10 teams in the country on the road against unranked teams are 22 and 28 this year. Just process that for a second, right? Not top 10 teams versus ranked teams. Top 10 teams versus unranked teams on the road, 22 and 28. Hey man, you better be prepared to play your best every single night. And, it doesn't matter if it's Mercer, it doesn't matter if it's Citadel, it doesn't matter if it's VMI, it doesn't matter if it's, you can go through all 9 teams in the league, Wofford, Western, Sanford, Chattanooga, Greensboro, like ETSU, you have to be ready to go. And, I think that's the nature of college basketball right now, and I think we do live in a little bit of a feel-good society, and when guys start feeling good, man, they start playing different, right? And you let guys start to feel good, and you don't want to guard them, and all of a sudden the crowd starts going in, and all of a sudden you don't feel good, right? It's hard, and a lot of times that's what we're having to manage expectations in our jobs now and manage emotions in our jobs now probably more than ever. And, that's part of playing on the road, right? Like, what is your expectation? Do you have an expectation that this is going to be a fight? Do you have an expectation that this is going to be really hard, right? Or do you have this expectation that this is going to be easy, right? And you have to understand also, how do you manage your emotions when you get in that situation and things aren't going your way? Can you control them, right? Can you endure? Can you continue to perform at a high level in the face of things not being favorable for you currently? And I think those two things, expectations and emotions, right, when you go on the road, like, hey, there's one expectation. It's going to be really hard, and we have to play really well. And that's every single night. And, it's going to be no different Wednesday. It's going to be no different Saturday. It's going to be no different Wednesday. It's going to be no different that Sunday. It's going to be like until this thing's over, that's why we play the games, right? There's no simulations out here, Scott. You got to go play ball.
This one might be especially tough to get past.
No.
Okay.
This team's
The nature of how you lost tonight, I guess.
this team's been through a lot. This team's been through hard. Like we've lost some gut wrenching games, and I think tonight was a war. Tonight was a game where, unless I watched the film and I'm just totally surprised. Like I thought our effort was right. I thought our fight was right. I thought our resiliency was right. I'll be able to sleep well. Doesn't mean I'm satisfied. Doesn't mean I'm happy. But we're not gonna mope around. Like we're gonna watch this film. We're gonna find ways to get better. And there's no day off, right? Because Sunday, right? So we got to go right back to work tomorrow. And I trust this group will. I think the advantage of going through some hard things early in the year is you're able to handle them better late in the year. And I think you saw that with our group last year. Like what could have been just a devastating season-ending, out-of-contention loss at Citadel, we moved on, right? Like we moved on. Like we came on the bus in Charleston before that bus started rolling out. We said we have 3 left, and we have to focus on the next one. And that's what we did, right? Like we knew that we had ETSU at the house on Sunday, and it was going to take everything we had to beat them, and it certainly did, right? And we had to lose with an ability to learn from it and to be able to be constructive with it, and not let it demoralize us to a point where now all of a sudden you're gonna basically, put yourself in more losing if you sit around and try to lick your wounds. So we'll get back up. We'll get back up, and we'll be ready to go out there and play as hard as we can on Wednesday.